Are annuities a good product for retirement income? It's a question I get a lot. How do you utilize them? What are they good for? Ultimately, are annuities a ripoff? Now, I think when you look into this a little bit, if you dig deep and if you were to do a Google search, are annuities a ripoff, or are annuities a good product, or should you utilize annuities for retirement income? Anything of this nature in regards to annuities and retirement income, you're going to come up with a spectrum of different opinions, probably mine included. I think what you're going to find is that there's a big divide in the conversation. The divide is the investment brokers on one side saying that annuities are a ripoff and they're too expensive, and then the other side of people who more insurance company-based organizations that will tell you that annuities are a great financial vehicle to help optimize retirement income. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through the fees. We're going to discuss, are annuities a ripoff? Where can they fit? Where can they work? Who do they help? And we will go from there. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. That way you're notified every time I launch a new video. So we're doing videos like these every single day. If you're looking to be a better agent, or if you're looking to find information to help you with your financial goals and help you reach your objectives, you're going to want to be here. So let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, Cashflow hackers? It's Chris with Life 180, and for this video, we're going to be talking about, are annuities a ripoff? And as you can see here, I have in I guess famous context here is the ultimate question is compared to what, right? And so I guess when we talk about annuities, the people that say annuities are a ripoff, they are people who typically like to manage money, right? They like to go on that spectrum and say, well, annuities are really expensive, and we can get you better results. We can manage your money, and you can do this. Now, like anything else, I think there are no good products and there are no real, well, I guess I can't say there are no bad products. There are some bad products, but what makes a good product good is based on whether it fits what your goals and objectives are, right? Like what could make a bad product or even a good product bad for you is if it isn't in alignment with your goals and objectives. It's got to be able to fill a need and complete a goal for you. So what I kind of like to lean on is just people understanding the paradigm in which you think about annuities, the paradigm in which you think about just retirement income and investment accounts and portfolio balancing and diversification and all these different things. When you hit retirement, the conversation completely changes. There's a great book called The Psychology of Money, and when you start thinking about this, and he talks about this in the book, is when you go through your whole life, think about it. You were programmed. You went to school, you got a job, you invested for retirement, you delayed gratification. But all that while, let's say you worked for 40 years and you were used to having a paycheck, you were used to having an income and a cash flow. And if things were bad or times were hard, you just went to work and you earned more cash flow and you could manage that. Well, by the time you hit retirement, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You've been thinking about saving all this money and getting this pile of cash, but now you hit retirement, and now what you have to think about is like you can't contribute to that anymore. You need to make that last as long as you can. And that's why I think one of the reasons they've done studies and they've done polls, and it was like over 70% of people said they'd rather die early than run out of money during their life. And actually they were more scared of running out of money than they were of dying early. Like that should be a very telling thing. So what I want to do here is use an example. Once again, this is just a concept. It's a principle. I'm going to be talking in extremes because, if we can get the extreme principles on the pendulum, far end of the pendulum swings, then we can have a conversation about the middle after that, right? And figure out what's going on. So what are the alternatives when we say are annuities a ripoff and we say compared to what? Well, let's start with the what. Let's and $1 million, and we're going to say it's going into managed money, right? And so what are you going to do? And actually, I'm going to share this. I'm going to put this screen up here just to make it a little cleaner. Hopefully, you can see this a little better here, right? So we got $1 million of managed money. And in this, what happens? Now, the average managed money fee in this country is 1.15%. So we're just going to say 1% to just make it round. So what does that mean? That means the average person with $1 million is going to pay $10,000 per year in managed money fees. So assuming that this account doesn't grow, you're going to pay over a 10-year period, you're going to pay $100,000 in total fees. So the question then becomes this: what is the purpose of this $1 million? I would encourage you to think about the fact that when you hit retirement, having this pile of money, thinking about becoming a millionaire doesn't really matter. What matters is not the $1 million. What matters is what that $1 million is going to be able to do for you. Now, if you go down here and we say, okay, from a managed money perspective, there's this thing called the 4% rule. I've done videos on this. If you don't know what the 4% rule is, you need to learn what it is. It's basically a mathematical equation saying that you can safely distribute 4% of your retirement portfolio, the $1 million, 4% without running a significant risk. Mind you, I didn't say running no risk, but without running significant risk of running out of money. So with that equation on $1 million, that means you could have $40,000 a year of income. So what's going to happen here is you're going to pay $10,000 per year in managed money fees to get $40,000 a year of income. That's basically a 25% fee, not on the total money, because it's obviously 1%, but of the amount of money that you're going to earn and be able to take as a distribution from income. Now, when you're paying them the $10,000, that's based on the total portfolio, but the problem here comes the risk, because if 2022 happens and you have a negative 20% year in this situation, you know, that $1 million becomes $800,000. And if you've baked your retirement goals on needing the $40,000 over here, now what's going to happen is you are, well, actually you took the $40,000 out as well, right? That's the crazy part. So now you got minus that $76,000. If you're taking a distribution like $40,000 and the account goes down 20% in retirement. Now you could balance a portfolio, you could do other things where you're not getting as big a return and so on and so forth. But once again, I'm talking about extreme principles here. $760,000, not $76,000, but $760,000. So now all of a sudden your need for this $40,000 of income per year doesn't change, but now you're only be able to pull out of $760,000. So instead of a 4% rule, you're actually pulling, I don't know, it's probably, well, I'll tell you what the number is. Hold on. Let me get this. Let's figure this out. 760. That's 5.26%, right? So this is 5.26% distribution instead of 4. Now that doesn't look like a big deal, but that's 1.26% higher, which is about 30% increase. That's a 30% increase in what you're doing from a distribution, which increases your risk by a pretty high factor, right? So this is just something that you need to take into consideration. So here's the deal. You're paying this 1% managed money fee every single year. You're basically paying, let's just call it roughly $100,000 in fees over a decade. You're taking on all the risk, and you know, you're basically risking paying $100,000 to get 40 times 10, $400,000 over a 10-year period of income, and they get paid regardless, and you take that risk. Now, so when people go, well, annuities are expensive, well, compared to what? And the answer is, yeah, they may be expensive depending on what you want to utilize it for. Now, if you have this money here and you don't need this money, this $1 million, if you don't need that money for retirement income or anything of that nature, well, then that could be fine, right? That's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. You can make that work. But if you need this $1 million to be leveraged for income, I'm going to tell you right now that I believe that a properly utilized and leveraged annuity is the only way to optimize your retirement income portfolio. Because once again, what you're looking at is making sure that you leverage your assets to maintain your standard of living for the rest of your life. And quite frankly, in a managed money account like that, you just can't do it because there's too many uncertainties that come into it. So now let's talk about the annuity. Okay? So when we look at the annuity, here's the deal. We look at this annuity and we go, all right, we got $1 million. Now, full transparency, I would never suggest somebody to take if this $1 million was all of the liquid money that they had, I would never suggest to anybody take all their liquid capital and just put it in there. But once again, extremes here, we're talking. And we're going to assume that this person has some other assets above and beyond this in this equation, right? So the $1 million. So now what happens is people go, well, they're expensive. Well, why are they expensive? And they say, well, we got to pay a 6% fee. which is $60,000. Now, there's that. There's surrender charges. I'm not going to have access to my money. Well, do you really need access? Like, if you have access to this money up here, is it really going to help you get to your goals if you need that money to last for the rest of your life? So is it in alignment with what your goals are? Once again, if you're needing this money for income for the rest of your life, this is where I'm saying an annuity is really powerful. You got the surrender period, surrender charges that go with it. If you access the money too early, that can be detrimental if you don't know. But then these annuities have something that's called an income rider. This is where annuities get really powerful because this is why you use them. And when I talk about annuities, I'm talking about fixed indexed annuities, right? You want to utilize an annuity that is tapped into an index. So here's what they do. What they do is they say, all right, we got, I'm going to call it a fixed indexed annuity, an FIA. So what do they have? They have a bonus when you do it. Yeah, you're paying this 6%, but you can get a bonus. You can get up to 20%. So now that 1 million goes to 1.2 million, right? So that's pretty powerful. Then you can get a guaranteed roll-up for income. What does that mean? That means you can get let's just call it 7%. Actually, no, it's about 8% now, sorry. There are different ways that companies do this, but it's simple interest, 8% per year. Right? So what does that mean? On 1.2 million, so now you got the bonus, and then they're going to give you a roll-up times 0.08. It's $96,000, right? So that's plus $96,000 per year to the account. So if you wait a year, you got the 1,200,000 plus the 96,000. That's $1,296,000, right? So you waited a year. If you did this, and now you can, let's say you waited and you were doing this at 65 years old, okay? That's your age, right? So your age is 65. You say, hey, I'm gonna do a rollover. Instead of having my money from my 401k of $1 million or IRAs at 65, instead of rolling that to a money manager, I'm gonna take at least a portion of that I need. Let's just assume this is just a portion that you're planning on using for retirement income. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna guarantee a paycheck for the rest of my life. That's what the insurance companies do. I'm gonna utilize this. I'm gonna be able to utilize it for a roll-up income because here's the thing. When you look at an FIA, I'm gonna do this really quick. You have the account value. I'm gonna do an account value, and then you have an income ledger, income value, right? And so as that happens, the account value is gonna start at $1 million, and that's just gonna grow to whatever it grows to based on market performance and index participation, right? That is gonna be whatever it grows to. Now the income here, if you look at the column for the income, this is only if you actually annuitize it and use it for income. You're gonna start at the 1.2 million because you have the bonus, and then you're gonna go plus 8% every single year, all the way through year 10, and that is guaranteed to happen every year. Now you're gonna start at age 65. If you were to annuitize after year 1 at 65, you're gonna annuitize $1,296,000, and you could do 5.5% income at that point in time. Guaranteed for the rest of your life, no risks, anything on the table. Now, so when we look at this, what are the income rider fees for you to be able to do this, to get this bonus, to get this guaranteed roll-up, to lock all this place, to shift the risk from you onto the insurance company because they're gonna guarantee this performance? What do you have to do as the client? You have to pay 1%. There's a 1% fee every single year. So is that equivalent to the managed money fee? Yeah, you're paying 1%, but instead of getting a 4% return, you're gonna get a 5.5% at 65, and you're gonna have it guaranteed, whereas nothing is guaranteed over there. And so when you look at that, and we look at the fact that you got the bonus to boot with it, right? You got the 1,296,000 times 0.055. You're talking at age 65 equals 71,280 annual income, compared to over here, what we're talking, $40,000 a year of income, right? So here, 40,000 divided by 71. That is a 56% increase in income, just kind of let you realize that. Actually, no, it's about a 75% increase in income. Sorry, 75% increase in income just for doing that. Now, what happens if we go 5 years out? This is the powerful thing. Imagine that you didn't need to tap into the income until you were 70. This is where these get really powerful. And this is where, if you were to, full transparency, if you're thinking about an annuity, I would always bank on the first year, like needing catastrophically. If I always think, what's the upside? What's the downside? Can I live with the downside? And when I'm looking at this going like, all right, I know if I put my money in this annuity, I'm going to get this $1,200,000 bump. I'm going to get this $200,000 bump, and I'll have that $96,000 getting credited to it. So I know from that perspective, that's kind of predictable because that's a year out, and I can plan for that, and that will create this $71,000. That is the downside of this, and I know that, like, if I knew worst case scenario, that's going to be my income, and that's going to help me live for the rest of my life. I can live with that. That's a good number, right? Now on the upside, what does the upside look like? Well, now I go 96,000 times 5 plus 1,200,000. That's 1 million at 70 years old. That means your income category here that you're going to be credited and be able to use as a crediting strategy to figure out your income is 1,680,000. But here's the deal. Because everything is actuarially based, and they basically pool your resources based on your age, and they give you an income crediting based on your age, they're going to give you income of about a 7% distribution because you did not start annuitizing until you were 70. And here's the way that insurance companies work. If you annuitize when you're older, they give you a higher return on that money in a lot of products because the risk to them is that they have to pay you for more and more years. And if you annuitize later in life, you are shortening those years, right? They know actuarially speaking, they can afford to pay you more, and it's less risk to them. Now, here's the crazy part. This thing is $117,600 in income. By waiting from 65 to 70 and just delaying that 5 years, you basically increased your income from $71,000 a year to $117,000 a year, and you didn't increase your risk at all. You increased your quality of life because of the way that it's all actuarially done. And effectively, with the $1 million deposit that you gave in at the age of 65, you were able to turn that $1 million deposit into about 11.7 annualized return in 5 years on your portfolio. By giving that to a money manager, now it's not fair to say, the only thing I will say is this is not apples to apples. If you were to give your money to a money manager and they were to, go out and manage it, let's say that they could get 6% annually, that 6, 12, 18, 24, 32, let's say they got to let's just call it 1.4 million in the managed money fee. And then they were able to get you a 4%, and because they're going to have to follow the 4% rule, right? That is just what it is. You're at $56,000 per year, right? So you're still at $56,000 per year compared to $117,000. So this is what I know, and this is what I wanted to really emphasize. And I'm going to sit down for this so I can just get off the board, start talking again, and kind of chilling out. This is what I wanted to emphasize. What I know to be true is I guess one of the things that really connected with me once upon a time, when I've heard a couple quotes, I guess, that really hit me, and one of them was, the quality of your life is going to be directly correlated to the quality of the questions that you ask. And one of the great questions that differs wealthy people versus poor people, or successful people versus less successful people, is unsuccessful or less successful people ask, what does it cost? i.e. annuities are expensive. Successful people ask, what's it worth, right? What is the value? What is it worth? What's it going to provide me? And when I look at the cost, is an annuity more expensive? When you add the income rider, instead of paying $100,000 in fees roughly over a decade, you pay $160,000 in fees, but look at the guarantees, look at the benefits that you get with it. And you're entrusting the success of your finances and your retirement and your dignity and your future, you're entrusting it to an insurance company that has been around and been doing this for over 100 years. And they've been managing this, and they have the ability to manage this way better than all these financial institutions that need to get bailed out. We only work with mutually held life insurance companies that that have a financial backing and the financial success and track record that show they've been doing this a long time. They operate by a different set of rules. There's no fractional reserve banking. They don't do any of that. And so this is one of the reasons that I think annuities are such a powerful income vehicle. Tom Hegna says you cannot have an optimized retirement without utilizing an income annuity. And so there are all sorts of annuities. I didn't get into it. There's deferred income annuities, there's SPIAs, which are single premium immediate annuities, or are index annuities, and then there are variable annuities, which I'm not a huge fan of. There's certain areas that those make sense, especially during the accumulation years that beat index annuities. But if you're 55 plus, this can be a great vehicle for you, right? Because I gave this example of waiting 10 years, but if you have money that you can roll in, and you have the ability for that money to kind of percolate and take advantage of all the bonuses and whatnot, well, then there are just really, really powerful annuities out there that can really help you, especially in this world that we live in now, where there's a lot of uncertainty with interest rates going up. The returns inside of these annuities are getting better and better and better. There's a lot of opportunity. My encouragement to you is, if you have any questions about this, you want to learn more about it, feel free to go down in the link in the description below. You could set up a free clarity call with one of the guys on my team. They will walk you through. We call it a clarity call because it is not a sales call. We just want to answer any questions that you have, give you more peace of mind about any of the financial decisions that you're making. I understand that there's so many different options and products and philosophies and all these different things that go into retirement income planning. And this is an area that I would say go meet with somebody on my team, and they can absolutely help you come to, I guess, a better understanding of what you think is best for you. I'm a big believer nobody should put their money into anything they don't understand, and this process for you should be about gaining clarity and about getting educated about what is best for you, not giving over the control of your financial life to somebody that tries to make themselves sound smarter than you, because you're not capable of it. You're totally capable. Not only that, I would argue you have a responsibility to learn about this stuff before you put your money into it. So that is it. If you have any questions, comment in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. If you found value in this, share it out, please. Share it with other agents, other advisors, other people that are looking to learn. I would be just grateful. I'm so I sit in gratitude right now every day about the growth of the channel and the support that I'm getting. But we're doing this to try to serve, so hopefully you found value. And if you did, please leave a comment. Let me know what you got out of this the most. Let me know if you have any questions. And till next time, have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See ya.